Alright, I'm not even gonna bother showing you any of the gameplay or any of the game when reviewing this because, for one, um, I can't really record this video game. I can, but it's like boxed in. The frame of it is boxed in because I'm using AV Component to record PS3, and this game has a 2.35 aspect ratio, so yeah, do the math. It's if you want to know what it looks like, just watch my my Assassin's Creed Rogue gameplay video, and that's what it looks like. And I don't want it to look like that throughout my entire review. And plus, second, it's Assassin's Creed. Everyone knows what it looks like. I mean, I don't need to show you something that you've already seen. Basically, I mean, it's in terms of like gameplay and presentation, it's pretty much the same as Assassin's Creed 4, which I reviewed earlier this year. So why should I have to show you pretty much the same thing? Alright? However, I'll probably talk about this in the same order that I reviewed Assassin's Creed 4, like in terms of like, you know, the content and story and stuff like that, in that order. So yeah, here we go, Assassin's Creed Rogue. When I played Assassin's Creed 4, I thought it was very big, and it was. But I think Assassin's Creed Rogue may be bigger. It has two coast maps. You know, a bunch of islands and stuff. One is the North Atlantic with a bunch of islands and Arctic and stuff like that, and like you get to like blow up like icebergs, and if you jump in the water, you take freezing damage, and if you stay in long enough, you will die. The game adds like frozen water stuff like that. That's new stuff. Being able to sail through like sheets of ice, frozen water ice, you know, and stuff like that to get to new areas that you couldn't access before, and stuff like that. And there's also another map called the River Valley, which I probably spent the most time in. Actually, no, I might have spent more time in North Atlantic, but still. A bunch of, like, you know, rivers and streams and stuff. There's more land coverage in that one than there is in the North Atlantic map. And lastly, there is New York City. And even though it's the only city, it's still pretty big. Maybe not as big as, you know, cities in like, you know, the first two Assassin's Creed, but they're pretty, it's a pretty big city. But I can tell you one thing, you're definitely going to spend more time, out in the countryside or at sea than you are going to be in the city. That doesn't mean the city's bad or anything, that just means that, you know, there's more, places to explore and activities to do, and, most of the story takes place outside the city. Now, the things that Rogue introduces aren't that big. I mean, it's basically just as far as gameplay goes, an upgraded Assassin's Creed 4. You know, I mean, like pretty much, well, everything that's in like everything that was introduced in AC4 is in AC Rogue. You know, the naval combat, of course, you know that. That naval campaign. Only in this one, it's more of an actual like campaign, and you know, kind of it's like linear style, but at the same time, you can still go back and go to countries to get, excuse me, to get more materials and stuff like that. However, there is one really cool thing they added in Assassin's Creed Rogue. A new type of enemy. It's called Stalkers. Basically, since you're playing as a Templar, you have assassins constantly stalking you, and you get to counter their attacks whenever they try to stop you. You know, you could like run by a bush, and one of them will come out after you, and you can press the circle button or B button to counter them and kill them and stuff like that. Although it can start to get a little repetitive, because it happens, not only does it happen so much, but they're recycled. the character models for the stalkers are recycled character models. Like in New York City, every stalker looks exactly the same. In North Atlantic, every stalker looks exactly the same. In River Valley, every stalker looks exactly the same. So when you're being stalked and you can hear the whispers and the pink fading outline of your screen, you'll know who to look for. And that kind of kills the intensity after a while, after you get to know who they look like. I just wish they could have more character models so that it would be easier to spot them. But it's still a really, really cool thing and really unique, and I think it's really fun. It makes up, in my opinion, for the lack of a multiplayer mode in this game, because it kind of feels like, you know, you're being hunted by another player, almost like in the other multiplayer modes of the Assassin's Creed games. What the fuck? What is that? And as always, the music is incredible in these games, and it especially has great music in Assassin's Creed Rogue. There's not much I can say else about that. I mean, it has great music, but one thing I want to point out, a small con, is that your pirates used recycled songs and recycled voice actors from Assassin's Creed 4. Really? You're just gonna copy and paste like that? You're not gonna fucking work? I mean, come on. Add some new pirate songs in there, new voice actors. They really rushed this game out the door that fast to the point where they just like said, you know, fuck it. It's not even the same time period. So, I mean, it takes place like literally like 30 years after Assassin's Creed 4. So there's no way those guys can be the same pirates. So there's no way they can be the same voice actors. The pirate songs in this game makes no sense because they were in 4. But whatever. This was a very, very polished Assassin's Creed game, to be honest. I really hardly found any technical problems, unlike Assassin's Creed 3 and 4. Very polished, considering it only took like fucking 10 months to make the game. I mean, like, shit. I mean, they must have just like copied and pasted the gameplay of AC4, but then improved it a little bit, and then they added the story and characters and voice actors and stuff like that in the maps. And then maybe that's why it didn't take that long. But I'm quite surprised because I consider an improved version of Assassin's Creed 4. There were a few times when the frame rate was kind of like, you know, very briefly as I was running through groups of enemies and stuff like that. And there was just one little game-breaking bug in particular where I jumped in a haystack and I couldn't get out, and I had to load the game. Lucky for me, I was in a mission, because if I wasn't in a mission, I'd have to fucking quit the game and then load my game back up, because you can't reload when you're, you know, when you're out on exploring, when you're not on any missions. So I guess lucky me. But anyway, yeah, it was overall a really, really one of the best Assassin's Creed games as far as polish goes. I was really impressed. This game was a lot better than I expected. You know, and it's still as fun as Assassin's Creed 4, if not maybe even a little bit more fun, because, like I said, they improved the gameplay and stuff like that. But also, a really good part about this game is the story. Now, as far as story goes, this is definitely the shortest Assassin's Creed. I mean, it is fucking short. I mean, it's like 8 hours long. I mean, the game itself, as far as content goes, the game is fucking huge. It's the biggest AC game yet. You know, you're looking at around like 45 to 50 hours of content if you want the 100% total synchronization, and even more if you want to get platinum or all 1000 gamer score. But set that aside. The story is only like 8 hours long, or 8 to 10 hours long, and it's only 6 sequences long, or well, 7 if you count a broken apart sequence that you gradually play throughout the game. Anyway, it's short, but it's fucking awesome. You start out as an assassin. I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'm not gonna spoil anything specific, but if you're watching this review, you should probably already know by now that you don't play as an assassin, you play as a Templar. But you don't start out as a Templar. You actually experience your transformation throughout the entire game. Do you realize how fucking cool that is? Okay, something happens. Something happens that you end up being responsible for the deaths of like almost 100,000 innocent people, and that burden of yours was under the order of the assassins, and then the main character, St. Patrick Cormac, which is probably my favorite main protagonist in the series so far. Sorry. It is just really good. There's a part where you have to escape a collapsing city. I'm not joking, like collapsing buildings and stuff, and like fucking fire flying all over the goddamn place. And it looks like something. It looked and felt like something straight out of a Naughty Dog game. I mean, that one mission was like more cinematic than like the entire like rest of the series combined. I was fucking blown away. I was like, this ain't no Assassin's Creed. This is fucking phenomenal. And you know, of course, it's from that point on, it's kind of predictable that you know you end up killing off, you know, one by one the people you used to work for and stuff like that. But however, the ending I thought was a little disappointing. Maybe that's only because I heard everyone say how good it was and how sad it was. It wasn't a sad ending, and it wasn't a bad ending. It was fine. It was an okay ending. It ended very well as far as plot goes and its connection between 3 and Unity. But I was just expecting a more, just a bigger payoff, a bigger like, whoa, that just happened type moment. Instead, he just like kills his last target and he just walks away with a last narration, and that's it. But overall, it might have my favorite story, just because, yeah, it's short, but I found the pacing to be much better. You know, it felt edited right. It didn't feel like it had any filler. It only like put in the necessary parts of what you should play and stuff like that. And also outside the Animus, the Abstergo, I found the Abstergo to be better than AC4. This one, you cause a crash and all the computers crash in the building, and you have to like restore all the computers and shit, and you have to like, you know, restore a computer to unlock later memories. It's how you progress through the game. It's by hacking into computers and recovering more of Sage memories. Unfortunately for the hacking, unlike Assassin's Creed 4, there's only one type of hack, and it's like this weird like I can't really explain it. You rotate rings to hit like nodes and stuff. I'd probably have to show you a recording of it, but I don't know. It's nothing special. I just wish there was more variety in the hacking, even if there's only 20 computers in the game. Another one thing I forgot to mention about the story is that the collectibles and the letters that you find actually are connected to the game or the series. So it's actually pretty important to get all these collectibles because you get more information out of the game. It's not just some stupid random thing that you find lying around like, he forgot to bring me my tomatoes or anything like that. It's really important. Like, it's like, we lost this fleet or whatever, stuff like that. Yeah, great story, great main character, great voice acting. For some reason, he sounds like kind of Scottish. I don't know if Shay is Scottish. Maybe I missed something. I don't know. I thought he was like British, but whatever. I don't know. I'll have to look that one up. I sound like an idiot right now. As for the controls go, you know how Assassin's Creed has always had kind of like controlling, in terms of like jumping on things that you want to jump and he ends up jumping someplace else. I know I exaggerated a little bit on that in Assassin's Creed 4, but you have to admit, I have a point. And in this game, it's not nearly as bad as Assassin's Creed 4 or 3, but it's still somewhat present. Not as bad, but I think we're just gonna have to face the fact that no matter how many Assassin's Creed games they make, and no matter how good they make them, I think that whole parkour thing where you can't run near something without jumping on it because they got rid of the free run X A button. It'll always do that. Especially when I'm on my ship and I'm trying to get off my ship. But all I want to do is run at the end of my boat, but he ends up fucking jumping on shit like the fucking cannons and crap, and like running into people. So I can't really consider it a con in the game as much as a con for the whole fucking series combined. I mean, it will always be like that. I'm just letting you know that it's still there. It's not really a good parkour series. If you want good parkour, play Mirror's Edge. Well, yeah, that's about it. I covered the whole gameplay, the story, the new things about it, the music, and I was very, very pleased with this. And to be quite honest, I liked Assassin's Creed more when it didn't have the multiplayer. I hated the multiplayer in Assassin's Creed. I thought it was just very convoluted, it just felt unbalanced. It just didn't feel right. Assassin's Creed 2 doesn't have multiplayer, and that's considered the best one still. But, this is probably my second favorite one in the series. Overall, it'd probably be my favorite one, period, if the ending was a little bit better, or, if the Stalkers had more variety in the character models, or any of that. This is, in my opinion, this is almost as good as Assassin's Creed 2. Almost. But not quite. I have to recommend this to all fans of Assassin's Creed, okay? Now, I know this ain't for PS4 and Xbox One, but for God's sakes, that doesn't mean it fucking sucks. I mean, I think people completely rushed into this PS4 Xbox One race way too fucking fast. There's so many people I know who don't have a PS3 and Xbox 360 anymore. And you know what? It's just plain wrong, because there are still games that are only coming out for that generation that are still good games, and people are missing out on these games. They're missing out on Dark Souls 2, missing out on South Park: The Stick of Truth, missing out on this, missing out on Borderlands: The Pre-Sequel, which isn't really a great game per se, but it's still fucking fun with a good story. You know, I guess what I'm trying to say is keep your systems. Don't sell your systems. I'm not telling you to be a collector or anything. I'm just saying you'll always want to go back once in a while. And come on, fans have to play this game. I mean, in my opinion, it's so good that I can't not recommend it to people who aren't fans. Like even if you're not a fan, this would still be a good first game for people to play. First Assassin's Creed game for people to play, because it doesn't feel like you need to play the other ones to play this game. Same thing with Assassin's Creed 4. So yeah, my final score for Assassin's Creed Rogue is a very high 8.5 out of 10. A great game. Yeah. Well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. The Gamer Gods!
Oh.